Welcome to this League of Women Voters Forum for candidates running for Norfolk County Commissioner. I'm Carol Patey, President of the League of Women Voters of Needham. The forum is co-hosted by the leagues in Norfolk County, the leagues of Brookline, Needham, Norwood, Sharon Stoughton, Wellesley, Westwood, Walpole, Dedham, and Hingham, which includes the Norfolk County town of Cohasset. We remember that we are gathered today on the occupied territory of the Massachusetts and Nipmuc peoples who stewarded this land for generations. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan multi-issue organization that encourages informed, active participation of citizens in government. The League does not support or oppose candidates or political parties. No League members involved in this forum are endorsing either candidate in today's forum. We are conducting this forum on Zoom, and it is being shown live on the Needham Channel's website. As such, we are subject to possible technical glitches, and we ask you, the audience, to bear with us and to especially understand that the candidates may experience sound or screen issues totally beyond their or our control. The co-hosting leagues and the public have submitted questions in advance. We are also collecting questions during the forum, and we will ask at least two as time permits. If you have a question, please email norfolkquestions@gmail.com. Questions must be received by 4:30. A league member is responsible for monitoring these questions. Questions on the same topic may be combined to form a composite question, and questions should be appropriate for both candidates. Massachusetts has 14 counties. Norfolk County, which is made up of 28 communities, is one of 6 counties that maintain county government as a separate government body. Over time, most functions of county governments, including the operation of courts and jails, have been taken over by the state, and most county governments abolished. Norfolk County, however, maintains many county government functions. Our county government consists of the executive branch, which is 3 county commissioners, and the legislative branch, which is the advisory board made up of 1 person from each community. Advisory board members are appointed by the select board, manager, or mayor of each community, and they have weighted power based on community property valuation. Revenue for Norfolk County comes from a share of taxes from communities and also from registry of deeds receipts, reimbursement for court facilities maintenance expenses, and state and federal funding of individual county programs. Programs and services of Norfolk County are many. They include the Registry of Deeds, Norfolk County Agricultural High School, Wollaston Recreation Facility, which includes the President's Golf Course, the County Treasurer's Office, the Retired and Senior Volunteer Programs, the Engineering Department, Trial Court Facilities Management, Appellate Tax Jurisdiction, and some jurisdiction over roads and county land conservation and open space management. Our 3 county commissioners have 4-year terms of office, and this year 1 seat is up for election. In the September 6th Democratic primary, we are selecting 1 candidate. That candidate will force an independent candidate in the November 8th election. As the executive board of Norfolk County's government, the county commission is similar in many respects to a select board. The county commissioners oversee operation and expenditure for Norfolk County. They are responsible for making budget, policy, and other decisions to be carried out by the Norfolk County Commissioner's Office, which includes controlling a $33.5 million budget. They also supervise the facilities maintenance department, engineering department, Wollaston Recreational Facility, the RSVP volunteer program, and the county purchasing and personnel offices. In addition, the commissioners are ex officio members of the 7-member Board of Trustees of the Norfolk County Agricultural High School in Walpole. Commissioners are paid about $40,000 per year. Our moderator for tonight is Nancy Brombach. Nancy is the past president of the League of Women Voters of Sudbury and vice chair for legislation for the State League. She will lead us through the forum. Welcome, Nancy.
Thank you, Carol. Today, we are going to hear from the 2 candidates running in the primary election to become the Democratic Party candidate for Norfolk County Commissioner. Please note that voters can vote for one of these 2 candidates. The candidates have been fully apprised of the format and the ground rules for today. For the benefit of the audience, here's a quick overview. Each candidate will have 90 seconds to introduce himself in ballot order. After that, I will ask them questions alternating between them. Each candidate will answer all of the questions. The response time for questions is 90 seconds. A 30-second rebuttal is allowed at my discretion when we think it's necessary. The public was invited to submit questions in advance via email, and you may also, again, as Carol noted, submit questions during this forum by emailing them to norfolkquestions, all one word, @gmail.com by 4:30. After the questions, we will finish with a 2-minute closing statement from each candidate in reverse ballot order. Now let's meet the candidates. If the candidates would please turn on your videos. Okay, here we all are. We will start with 90-second opening statements from each candidate. First, candidates, can you see the countdown clock that we have up?
Yes.
Audience, you won't be able to see,
Yes.
I don't think. Okay, we start with Mr. Collins. Peter Collins, would you please introduce yourself? And you're already unmuted, so I don't have to remind you to do that.
Okay.
You have
thank
90 seconds.
Hi, my name is Peter Collins. I'm a lifelong Milton Democrat. I'm married with 2 boys. My oldest just graduated Milton High School. He's off to college this week, this Friday. My youngest will be a sophomore at Milton High School next week. My wife is a dental hygienist and a massage therapist. I graduated from BC High, UMass Amherst, Suffolk University Law School, and I've been a practicing attorney specializing in workers' compensation for 36 years. I have my own business, the law office of Collins & Collins in Quincy, and our team of 4 lawyers helps injured workers receive the benefits they deserve every day. It's been my honor and good fortune to serve as one of your 3 county commissioners for the past 28 years. For a decade, I was chairman of the county commissioners. For the past 18 years, I've been president of the Massachusetts Association of County Commissioners. When I first ran for office, I promised we would run the county like a business, and every dollar would be accounted for. I'm proud to say that for the last 28 years, even during tough economic times, the county budget has always been in the black. For 28 years, we've negotiated fair union contracts with all of our unions and union employees. We have spent millions renovating all our buildings. We have expanded our regional services to our cities and towns, and our county's future has never been brighter. I'm Peter Collins, and I'm here today to once again ask for your vote in the Democratic primary. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, Paul Yorkis, if you will introduce yourself for 90 seconds.
Thank you. I'm Paul Yorkis. I live in Medway, Massachusetts with my bride of 53 years. I have 3 grandchildren. I am a graduate of Ithaca College, State University of New York at Albany, and my doctoral degree is from the American University in Washington, D.C. I have a great deal of experience in local government as a resident of Medway, and also have a substantial amount of experience in county government from when I lived in Maryland. I intend to combine what I know about both levels of government to provide the best possible programs, services, and fiscal management. I've campaigned in every Norfolk County community. The first question I am asked is, what is the job of a commissioner? And every day I try my best to answer that question. What I will do and explain what I will do if I am fortunate in being elected. I want more people to know about their Norfolk County government. Norfolk County voters deserve open, transparent government that seeks input not just from the advisory board, but from the 28 cities and towns, our Beacon Hill legislative delegation, our US senators and representatives, and certainly from the 740,000 county residents. I ask for your vote on September 6th.
Thank you both. Now we will go to the questions. And the first question we'll start with Mr. Yorkis. The question is, if elected, what would be your top 3 priorities as county commissioner? And again, you have 90 seconds to respond to each of the questions.
Thank
Mr.
you very
Yorkis.
much. My top three priorities are pretty clear. I'm a very strong advocate for open and transparent government. I would encourage my colleagues as commissioners to move the meetings, which currently occur at 1 p.m. in the afternoon on Wednesdays, to an evening, so that more people can watch and participate in the activities of Norfolk County government. Number two, I want to leave the forest at Norfolk Aggie alone. I think we need to develop a comprehensive energy conservation and sustainability program for all county buildings, land, and vehicles, and develop a comprehensive strategy plan for all county programs and services. We need to change, I believe, the decision-making process to provide for more input from stakeholders, from communities, from our partners in government and the public. And we need to build consensus when making decisions before the decisions are made. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Collins, your top three priorities for the job.
Thank you. My first priority is ARPA. Norfolk County was awarded more than $137 million in ARPA funding. We are working with local officials to equitably disperse the money on a per capita basis over 3 years pursuant to Treasury guidelines. For example, Brookline shall receive more than $11 million. Needham will receive approximately $6 million. Norwood, Stoughton, and Wellesley will receive approximately $5.5 million apiece. Walpole and Dedham are about at $5 million. Sharon will get $3.5 million. Westwood will get $3 million, and Cohasset will get about $1.6 million. Most of the funds are being used for water sewer infrastructure, revenue replacement, public health response, and pandemic pay for frontline workers. My second priority is legislation to help the county. We shall continue to push legislation to keep money generated at the Registry of Deeds within the county. Our collaborative efforts through the Massachusetts Association of County Commissioners and our legislators was almost able to push this bill through last year. When successful, we shall reduce the county tax by half, freeing up needed tax dollars to be used by our cities and towns. And my third priority is the implementation of our best practice audits. We shall continue to implement the findings of our first-of-a-kind best practice government operation analysis to streamline county government, making it more efficient, cost-effective, and cutting edge, all while keeping our data safer. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question will start with Mr. Collins, and it is, the county owns the Williston Recreational Facility, which consists primarily of the President's Golf Club. Could you tell our viewers about the golf club, whether it breaks even financially, and what benefits county residents get from having a golf club in Quincy? Mr. Collins.
In Quincy and Milton. I'm from Milton. Okay, so the golf course was purchased in the 1970s using federal funds, and the county essentially oversees the management of the golf course. It makes about $100,000 per year, but more importantly, it saved about 92 acres of open space that otherwise would have become house lots, or back in the day, a warehouse for Jordan Marsh. They were gonna tear it all down. So it's a terrific benefit. It's a local course. It provides a discount to Norfolk County residents who play the course, and we're rehabbing all the tennis courts on the site right now. We're about to put up a playground. It's a $100,000 playground for kids. We're all excited about the improvements that are going into the golf course, and we believe in the open space that it saves in this rural environment is really essential to that area of the county. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Yorkis, do you need the question again?
Sure.
So the county owns the Williston Recreational Facility, which consists primarily of the President's Golf Course. Could you tell viewers about the facility, whether it breaks even financially, and what benefits county residents get from a golf club in Quincy?
Thank you very much for the question. And I have been asked a similar question many times by residents of Norfolk County who live in the western part of Norfolk County. And many of them did not even know that the facility existed and that it was owned by the county. I think it's absolutely critical that open space be preserved, but we also need to look at how the county funds the facility. And we also need to look at the rest of the county in terms of their need for recreation and open space area. We're a big county, as we know, 28 communities. And I think many people in the western part of Norfolk County are wondering why we don't get as many services and support as is available to the eastern part of the county. I think with good communication and good explanation and good planning, that we can address some of those concerns.
Thank you. The next question will go first to Mr. Yorkis. The county received money from the federal government through the American Rescue Plan Act, better known as ARPA. What is the outcome of the funds already distributed? And how should remaining ARPA funds be spent, do you think? Mr. Yorkis.
Thank you very much. The ARPA funds are truly critical funds for each and every one of the 28 cities and towns. And the process by which those funds are distributed needs to be more transparent. The citizens of Norfolk County are aware of the funds, but they're not aware of how the funds are allocated. It's important, as I said in my opening statement, that transparency take place in Norfolk County government. One of the concerns that was raised to me recently was that some of the about $30,000 in ARPA funds were used for salary increases for county personnel. I'm not sure that's the best expenditure of ARPA funds when you consider all of the needs of all 28 communities. And I think it's very important that every decision that the commissioners are making are transparent and that everybody understands why they were made. And that's one of the reasons, again, why I have suggested that the meetings take place in the evening so people can watch what's going on, listen to what's going on, and also offer their comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Collins on ARPA funds?
You want to read the question back to me one more time, please?
Sure. The county received money from the federal government through the American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA. What is the outcome of the funds already distributed, and how should the remaining funds be spent?
The ARPA funds can't be spent in a willy-nilly fashion. They have to be within the federal guidelines, and there are several federal guidelines. They're very stringent. They're very specific about what we can do and what we can't do. In fact, the county is responsible for how all of the money is used, every nickel of it. So every dollar that comes into the county, as it's dispersed from the county to the cities and towns on a per capita basis. And that's how we manage it, on a per capita basis, to make it fair to everyone. But it has to all go through federal guidelines. We have two sets of law firms. We have two sets of accounting firms. And what we did was we partnered with the other counties that took in the money to lessen those expenses. So what we do is we go to the towns, we say, what are your needs? And we show them all the information, the local legislators, we show them all the information. And we say, these are the choices that you have. And we have them working with the accountants and the lawyers. And then they come back after they figure out how best to use the money. They come back to the county. And once they figured it all out, the money gets to them in about 3 weeks. So it's a very quick process. But it's all on the website. So it is open and transparent. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is about the high school. Approximately 600 students attend the Norfolk County Agricultural High School, which is one of 4 agricultural high schools in the state. Do you think that the agricultural schools programs should be expanded or altered? And if so, in what way? And start with Mr. Collins.
Sure. Let's talk about the Aggie. The Aggie is awesome. It sits on about 320 acres. It has 600 plus students. When I started, it was in the 300 student range, but it's doubled since then. We've put more than $30 million into the Aggie, and every single year their curriculum changes just a little bit, depending on the market, depending upon the different interests of the students that are in there, because they choose different classes. And so by their voicing their enthusiasm for different classes, we know which ones are working and which ones aren't. Right now, we're doing a really neat solar initiative at the Aggie. We'll be talking about that during this question and answer period, I'm sure. And we're partnered with UMass Amherst Stockbridge in this whole solar technology as it relates to farming. A lot of farming across the United States has a solar component to it now, so that the farmers can make some money on the extra land that they might have, and they can generate some income to help pay for their farms. But the Aggie is a fabulous place. We call it the jewel of the county. One plug, they have almost a 100% MCAS pass rate every single year. It's really cool. It's a great place.
Thank you. So, Mr. Yorkis, do you think the agricultural schools program should be expanded or altered? And if so, in what way?
Thank you very much. Norfolk Aggie is an incredible asset, not just to the high school students who attend it from Norfolk County, but to many high school students who attend from outside of the county. And yes, I think the programs need to be expanded and looked at, not just for high school students, but for adults in the community. There is a really significant opportunity for lifelong learning available from Norfolk Aggie. Its facilities are absolutely superb. I've been through some of the labs, not all of them, and there's overwhelming support. When I am out and about campaigning, people often ask me about Norfolk Aggie and tell me about their son or daughter who is going there or who has graduated from there, and how proud they are of what they learned and how successful they have been after graduation. But we need to look at the adults and how we can expand those resources to our adult population. Thank you.
Thank you. Now it's time for us to check in with Carol to ask a question that has come in from the live audience. And the question will go first to Mr. Yorkis. So Carol, do we have a question from
Yes, we do. Here's one. I'm happy to see a much improved Norfolk County website. Under the History tab, Norfolk County history begins in 1620 with the arrival of the Mayflower. Do you think the history of Norfolk County should include an acknowledgement of the indigenous peoples, some of whom reside here today?
So we start with Mr. Yorkis on that question.
Thank you very much. And I think that question, whoever raised it, thank you. Because the recognition of the history of our county, not just the indigenous people, but all of the historical aspects of our county. The first public library in America is in Franklin, Massachusetts, part of our county. One of the things I have been advocating for is the goal of looking at all of our county programs, all of our county agencies, to figure out how, as a county, we can develop and implement programs dealing with diversity, equity, and inclusion. Those are very critical for the growth of our county and the recognition of how much has happened in our county, and how much can happen, and recognizing the historical aspects of our county. My hope is that that can be one of the focuses in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Collins.
You want to read it back once, please?
Carol, can you read the question?
Yes.
Again?
I'm happy to see a much improved Norfolk County website. Under the History tab, Norfolk County history begins in 1620 with the arrival of the Mayflower. Do you think the history of Norfolk County should include an acknowledgement of the indigenous peoples, some of whom reside here today?
Absolutely. I do. Yes. And I agree with a lot of what Paul said, but yes, I agree.
Okay, go to the next question and we'll start with Mr. Collins. We received several questions from the public about environmental sustainability and addressing climate change, as you may well imagine. What is your position on solar projects on county land and buildings, such as the Kearsarge proposal at the agricultural school campus? And would you support an effort to create a Norfolk County climate action plan, as some of our other cities and towns have done? And again, starting with Mr. Collins.
That's a great question. Thank you. So about 7 years, the students and the teachers at the Aggie came to the trustees with the idea that they wanted to be carbon neutral. They said they were an agricultural high school. They had an environmental duty to do the right thing. They wanted to save the planet. Think globally, act locally. They came to us with that idea. So we've been working on it ever since. It's a slow process because you have the county level, you have the town, you have the state, and there's different interconnects that happen between the solar panels and the electric company. It's a really involved process. You have zoning it the whole bit. But yes, I support solar. We've been moving the solar panel arrays around on different parcels throughout the last 7 years to try to meet as many people's needs as possible. But yes, I agree, in solar for the Aggie. And again, think globally and act locally. But we do want to be as responsible to our constituents as we can be, both right around the arrays and throughout the county. We also have been working at the county level. We're trying to get carbon neutral within 10 years. We're going to try to put solar panels on every place that we can do it, on top of buildings all around. So this is an issue that's near and dear to my heart, but I think it's what we have to do as a community and a county.
Thank you. Mr. Yorkis, your position on solar projects on county land and buildings, such as the Kearsarge proposal, and would you support an effort to create a Norfolk County climate action plan, as other cities and towns have done?
First of all, I do not support the Kearsarge plan for Norfolk Aggie at all. I don't think it's a wise plan, and I don't think it belongs on Norfolk Aggie's campus, number one. Number two, with respect to solar, solar has to be embraced by Norfolk County. And if you look at the courthouses and the parking lots and the Registry of Deeds parking lot and the parking lot at the President's Golf Course, there are locations where canopy solar arrays can be installed without harming a forest, without destroying or negatively impacting meadows. And I am very supportive of that. But let's take it a step further. Norfolk Aggie has a number of school buses that are currently gasoline powered. We should be looking at them in terms of the capability of battery powered buses. And to answer your question, would I be supportive of a comprehensive energy sustainability plan? That's part of my campaign platform to do just that. Thank you.
I was going to allow another 30 seconds because this was a complicated question. So let me do another 30 seconds and ask you exactly about establishing a Norfolk County climate action plan. What is your feeling about that, and how would you go about it? So Mr. Collins first, and then Mr. Yorkis.
I'm all for a Norfolk County, I'm all for the action plan. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But I do want to touch on a few things that Paul mentioned. I'm not for chopping down a forest. That doesn't make any sense to chop down a forest to put up solar panels. We're talking about putting them on meadows that are used for hay right now. And the solar arrays are going to be at such a level that they can be tilted and we can actually farm crops underneath it. It's really a cool thing. This isn't some money grab. This is a real big thought out plan with Stockbridge at UMass.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Yorkis.
Well, this is something respectfully that Peter and I disagree on, and that's healthy for our county to have a difference of opinion. The whole idea of having a solar array at Norfolk Aggie when we can put it someplace else and take advantage of other prime location is a much better approach.
Thank you both. The next question will start with Mr. Yorkis. Do you have any concerns or suggestions on current and future financing of Norfolk County?
The answer is yes. I'm always concerned about finances. One of the things that I think is critical for Norfolk County government to look at is as many grant programs as possible, both from the federal government and the state government. I have had very significant experience in grant writing and grant acquisition. I've worked well with both federal and state officials in acquiring funds for a variety of different programs. And those grant programs help achieve goals and help achieve both the county and community goals. I know legislation has been introduced for a number of years for the county, for the receipts from the Registry of Deeds, for more of that to stay with Norfolk County. The people who I've spoken with, who are state representatives and senators, believe that the likelihood of that passing is very remote because the state does not want to give up revenue to a county.
Thank you, Mr. Collins.
Want to read it back again, please?
Yes. Do you have any concerns or suggestions on current and future financing of Norfolk County?
Financing for the county has always been an issue. We've had it for 28 years, and we're always working to try to boost our finances in any way possible. And one of the things that Paul mentioned, and it's really a big deal, is that Norfolk County and our legislators, and the legislators from Bristol and Plymouth, Nantucket and Dukes, Barnstable, we're all coming together to try to change the format from the way that the money is collected and kept at the Registry of Deeds. Right now, for every dollar that's spent at the registry, for every dollar that's spent at the registry, the county gets 10 cents. That's it. So we're trying to change the formula to keep more of the money at the county level. The state gets all the rest of the money. We do all the work, we record it, we supervise it, and they have their handout. It all started when Mitt Romney was governor. He didn't raise taxes, he raised fees. So we've been working hard to get this done. We were really close this year. And we believe that next year, we're hopeful that next year we're going to get this done. And when we do this, this is really cool. We'll have enough money that comes in that not only will we have enough money to fund the county as it should be funded, but we believe we can cut the county tax in half, which will allow the cities and towns to have more money to do with as they please.
Thank you. Now we'll go back to Carol for a question from the live audience. Carol, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. Do the people who work for the county reflect the diversity of Norfolk County? And if not, would you take any specific steps to change that?
And Mr. Collins will answer that one first.
That's a good question. And we are possible. We are seeking people of diversity to work for the county, but it really depends on the applicants and the jobs that go out. So we're doing our best to make our county more diverse, but it really depends on people seeking out the work that we have and the jobs that we have. But yes, I'm all for that. I'm all for pushing diversity within the county.
Mr. Yorkis.
Thanks for the question. To me, it's an essential effort that we focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that's not going to happen overnight. But the training regarding diversity, equity, and inclusion that can take place now for all county employees is a start. And I think we need to have a county government that reflects the diversity of the population of Norfolk County. I had the opportunity on Saturday to be at the August Moon Festival in Quincy. And it is supposed to be a festival that attracts primarily people of Asian heritage. But the people who were there were not just Asian, they were from all areas and all walks of life and all races. And it was a coming together, which was an absolutely beautiful event and a very interesting event, both culturally and educationally. I was glad I was there. I certainly support this effort. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. The next question will go first to Mr. Yorkis. It is, are you in favor of continuing to provide remote access and participation for county public meetings as was begun during the pandemic? Are there any barriers to offering such hybrid county meetings?
Well, as I said earlier, I think the meetings of the commissioners should be in the evening, not during the day at 1 o'clock on a Wednesday, so that more people can see what's going on, can listen to what's going on, and can participate. Government is strongest when people participate in the government. And I don't know the specifics of the county budget. I'm not a commissioner right now, but I know one of the things that we should be talking about and considering is when there is a discussion taking place, is making sure at least there is a scroll at the bottom of the screen so that people know who is talking and what is being said if that person who wants to watch is hearing impaired. There are many things we can do to make our county government more transparent. And I would really like to encourage us to do that and embrace all people as part of the government. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Collins, are you in favor of continuing to provide remote access and participation for public meetings as was begun during the pandemic? And are there any barriers to offering such a hybrid meeting format?
I'm not only in support of it, but I was one of the individuals who pushed for it. And it's not just at the county commissioner meetings, but it's also at the trustee meetings, and it's also at the advisory board meetings. We've gone to Zoom on all these different meetings. It's the way of the future. It's the right thing to do. People want to be involved. With regard to the evening meetings, we do have mostly evening meetings. Our advisory board are at night. The Aggie School is at night. Many of the meetings that we have all the meetings that we have are taped, so people can access them at a later time if they choose to. And if they have questions, they can always send the questions and we can answer them. But a lot of the meetings that we have during the week, during the day, they involve working people from different parts of within the county and outside of the county, different vendors and things. And we found that the best way to make that work was during the day on Wednesday days.
Okay, and this will be the final question before the closing statements. And it will go first to Mr. Collins. Most of Massachusetts counties to the north and west of us no longer have county government, which may leave some residents wondering why we need it. Can you share your ideas for expanding regional services to benefit communities within Norfolk County, or explain why we need it?
Absolutely.
And Mr. Collins first.
Okay. So back in the 90s, Middlesex County was the poster child for doing away with counties. There was a lot of corruption, a lot of graft, all that. And so there was a wave of sentiment that maybe some counties should be done away with. And so Middlesex, Essex, and the counties out west, they weren't in touch with their local legislators. Their legislators didn't know what they do. And for that reason, those counties were done away with. They had no support at the State House, and they were just taken out. The counties that remain, Norfolk, Bristol, Plymouth, Barnstable, Dukes, Nantucket, we knew our legislators. They knew the good work that we did on a regional basis, and they allowed us to continue. And what we found is that the closer that government is to the constituents, the closer it is that you can get an answer to your questions. You have a question for the county commissioners, you call the office, you'll get an answer. But if you call the State House, you might not. If you call your town, you'll definitely get an answer. But the county does handle services which are bigger than the towns can handle and smaller than the state can handle well. So we feel that we have a niche government that really serves our constituents well. If the other counties had done their job, they'd still be thriving too. But we're doing a great job. We've done great things, and we're excited about the future.
Thank you. Mr. Yorkis, why county government?
Well, I've lived in an area where county government was the government as opposed to town government. And I've lived in Medway since 1983. And I see the strengths of both. And I think it is important to keep county government. That county government, I believe, can do better than it's currently doing by working more closely with the individual towns, with all of our approximately 27 state legislators, with our federal legislators, and with the Boston Metropolitan Area Planning Council. Collaboration, we commissioners can develop and improve collaboration by simply bringing people together and saying, we've got an issue, let's get the best brains, the best experienced people together in one room so that we can begin figuring out what the best collaborative approach is to address a problem. I think that's an important opportunity, and I hope to take advantage of it.
Thank you both. Now we will go to our 2-minute closing statements, and we're doing it in the reverse order of the opening statements. So we start with Mr. Yorkis. You have 2 minutes to close.
First of all, thank you again to the League of Women Voters for hosting this forum. I give you great credit. Norfolk County residents deserve an open and transparent government. Norfolk County residents deserve to know about how their county tax dollars, programs, and services are being allocated to the 28 communities. During my entire adult life, I've been a coalition builder. I've been involved in and led planning efforts in local communities, colleges, counties, and realtor organizations. During my career, I have secured millions of dollars, literally millions of dollars, in grants and earmarks, successes that I can bring to Norfolk County as well. The need for a strategic planning for Norfolk County has never been greater than it is now. How we position the county to address energy conservation and sustainability, how we address the stewardship of the county's land and buildings, how we encourage diversity, equity, and inclusion within county government is very important. These challenges and opportunities, these are challenges and opportunities that we can and must address, and I believe it is time for a change in county leadership. The fact that the commissioners are being sued by another county elected official speak volumes about the change that is required in the makeup of the commissioners. The fact that my opponent is leading an effort to cut down trees on the campus of Norfolk Aggie and replace these trees with solar panels speaks volumes about why a change is needed. I respectfully ask for people to vote for me. And I again want to thank the League of Women Voters and Peter for participating in this event.
Thank you, Mr. Collins.
Thank you. I just want to touch on the tree issue. I'm a big tree hugger. So yes, some trees may have to come down at the Aggie for the solar arrays, but my pledge is to plant 2 trees for every tree that comes down. That being said, we're proud of our accomplishments at Norfolk County. 28 years of balanced budgets, 28 years of fair union contracts. We've invested millions in our buildings, agricultural high school, courts, and golf course. We're leading all counties in the state in the distribution of ARPA money pursuant to federal guidelines. We're implementing our best practice audits. We're consolidating and dramatically upgrading our IT to make it more user-friendly and secure, which the register doesn't like, and that's why he's suing us. We're working to make the Aggie and the county carbon neutral to combat climate change. We're working to expand our regional services to our 28 communities, and we're working on legislation to allow us to cut the county tax in half. I have worked to reform our county government to be more cost-effective, inclusive, transparent, and green, to provide a greater benefit to the lives of our neighbors and children. I thank you for your votes of confidence in electing me as your county commissioner for the past 28 years. I'm pleased with what we've accomplished, but I'm more excited for the county's future. My name is Peter Collins. I'm a Milton Democrat, and I respectfully ask for your vote to allow me to continue serving you as your county commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you. A big thank you to both of you for
And thank you, Paul. A real gentleman.
for your willingness to participate in the League's forum and for your collegial aspect, which is way too rare these days. We wish you both good luck in the primary. And we thank also our live audience today and the Needham channel for making this technically possible. A recording of this forum will be available on the Needham channel and also on the Leagues of Women Voters websites. Now, a bit of information about how to elect these people. Primary election day is Tuesday, September 6th. The deadline to register to vote in this election is Saturday, August 27th. That's this Saturday. And the deadline to request an early vote by mail ballot is August 29th. That is pushing it to get the ballot and return it in time. If you want to vote by mail, apply now. In-person early voting is available from Saturday, August 27th through Friday, September 2nd. You can find your locations for the in-person early voting on your town's website. On election day, Tuesday, September 6th, polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. For more information on voting in this election, visit voteinma.com. For information on candidates, the League's voter guide, vote411.org, is a good place to start. The League's comprehensive voter guide, Vote 411, includes information on all the primary offices, as well as the candidate's background and their responses to our questions. The Leagues in Norfolk County thank the Needham channel for streaming this forum. Thank you again for joining us, and remember to vote on or before September 6th. Thank you.